Hey everybody, welcome back to another Motivation Monday podcast for Monday, September 9th, 2019. I have got to apologize for missing the episode last week, but for all of you in the United States, you know that it was Labor Day last week, and I was spending some time with the family and just didn't get around to putting out an episode. And I think that's going to happen on most Monday holidays that occur in the United States. So do apologize for missing last week's episode, but let's get back into our series on having a successful practice routine. That was something we started 2 weeks ago, our steps to a great practice routine. And we're going to continue that. We're going to talk about some more factors that go into just having success from day to day in the practice room, and maybe streamlining your process a little bit, and maybe just a couple of things to think about. I am definitely open to suggestions from you guys. I would love to hear some of the things that you do to ensure that you have a good practice routine, on an ongoing basis. You can definitely drop me a note on Facebook, or you can email me 10minutejazzlesson@gmail.com. I'd love to hear some of your ideas, and maybe we can feature some of those on the show. I think that would be fantastic. So this week we're going to talk about kind of putting one foot in the practice room. Last week we talked about planning, and that was before you even get into the practice room. This one's going to be something to think about kind of like when you walk through the door to the practice room. And that's going to be being in the right mindset to practice. I think that this is absolutely crucial to having success once you actually have the instrument in your hands and you're getting down to business. Mindset is so important for everything, not just practicing, but I think it's particularly important for something that is so all-encompassing as practicing. When you're practicing and you're getting the most done, you have to have kind of 100% of your brain focused on the task at hand if you're going to work on some of these high-level concepts and things that we talk about on the show. And I'm guessing that most of you don't want to plan all this time to practice and then not actually get anything done. That's such a bummer. I've had it happen to me, and I try as hard as I can not to really ever have that happen anymore. And a big part of that is mindset. So I think the biggest thing is kind of trying to forget about everything else that's going on in your life, your day-to-day. So we've talked about this on the show before, but don't bring your cell phone into the practice room with you. Eliminating distractions is huge for mindset, because if your mind is in the right place to be accomplishing these tasks and really focus 100% of your energy on music and thinking about music, we need to eliminate distractions. So those electronic distractions they just creep into our lives at every moment. So leaving the cell phone out of the practice room, or if you do use it to practice, put it on airplane mode. Closing your email if you use your computer to practice, which I do big time. Just close out that email tab and do not look at it until you're done with your practice routine. And then the other one that's not necessarily a distraction, or I guess it really is a distraction, but like I said, you've got to kind of block out everything else that's going on. You've got to tell yourself that it's okay to forget about the 20 other things that you have to be doing at the moment. So many of us were running around doing so many things, putting out fires, doing this, doing that. At least I know that's what my daily life is like. But you've got to give yourself permission to not think about that stuff for a couple of hours while you're practicing, or for however long you get to practice on a daily basis. I think that's the biggest thing. So going into it with the mindset of, this is my time to only think about music and not have to think about anything else that's happening. And that might seem stressful. You might be like, well, I can't really do that. But you actually kind of owe it to yourself to do that. And it can actually alleviate a lot of stress, right? Giving yourself that okay to go in there and kind of get lost on your instrument, get lost with music. Allow yourself to be creative, You can't really be creative if you're worried about 42 other things. You got to really give yourself permission for that. So indulge yourself. Give yourself a little bit of time. You deserve it. Spend that time on your instrument. Obviously, if you're listening to this podcast, playing music is something that you love to do and you get a charge out of and really gives you energy. So go ahead and just let that happen, you know? Let that happen. In some of the most stressful times of my life, I've actually taken refuge in the practice room. Where it's like, okay, let me just kind of forget about all that and let me play my instrument and get better and think about this thing that I love, that's music. All right? So try that this week. Try to eliminate the distractions, leave all the electronic stuff out. Do not let anybody reach you. Do not try to reach anybody else. And also give yourself that permission to just forget about all the other crazy, busy stuff that's going on in your life. And I think you might find that it's more fun, first of all, and that you probably get a lot more done because your thoughts aren't elsewhere. So let me know what you think about that. Let me know if that's a problem that you run across. Let me know if this helps you. All right? Again, I definitely want ideas. What do you do to provide yourself with a quality practice routine? These are things that I can definitely learn from, and these are things that we can all learn from. Okay? All right, have a great week, everybody. We'll see you on Friday with a regularly scheduled episode, and thank you so much for listening. Talk to you soon. Bye.